Much everyone for joining us on today's section. Thank you very much for joining us on today's section. We're super excited to have all of you here. Thank you so much. I also have with me here Sani, who is also going to be hosting this webinar with me. My name, first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Alabolo Afunke. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Funke. My name is Sani Aruna Aladele. I'm the Organizational Manager of Business School Nigeria. You are welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we also have a speaker here today, Mr. Yemi Fashion. He is going to be talking to us about CV optimization, how to create an innovative resume, sorry. So I'm sure he's also here. Mr. Yemi, could you please let us see you? Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. We are honored to have you in this section today, where we'll be talking about how to create an innovative CV. And I'm sure that everyone gathered here today, they're looking for a way to, improve on their CV, to get the better job, and also to be on the right place for employment when it comes to job hunting. So please let's welcome Mr. Yemi Fashion as he has joined us today. We can drop our welcome remarks on the comment section. Please, let's welcome him. He's going to be introducing himself. At this point, I'm going to hand over to him. He will introduce himself and also tell us what he has for us for today. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone, for joining this particular time. I'm not sure when I'm going to run away from some people. Everywhere I go, I see them. And I'm already seeing their handwriting in the chat room. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I'm not sure where people are listening from or joining us from. My name is Yemi Fashion. Funke is insisting that I should introduce myself. I'm not sure what else you want me to say. My name is Yemi Fashion, that's fine. At the moment, I work with an organization called Letitia is here. I see you. I work with an organization called YF Talent Partners. And what we do at YF Talent Partners is we are an HR advisory firm. We also engage in culture and leadership transformation. So HR advisory meaning from all the verticals of HR, from point of entry to point of exit. We are always there to help organizations nurture talents so that we can build great institutions together. That's what we're about. In terms of my career journey, it's been like 30 years now, and I moved from the academics. I was a lecturer once in my life. Maybe there is no surprise that I'm doing this again now at this time of my life. I was once a lecturer, and then I moved into sales. From sales to marketing to HR in 1999. And I think I found love finally in HR. And I decided to stay married to HR. So that's what I've done in terms of, that's my career journey. Organizations have been around sectors like the financial services industry, 3 organizations there, Standard Chartered, Stanbic, IBTC, and ABN Quest Merchant Bank. What else? Telco, Glo, and Etisalat. Consulting, Athronessin, People Temp, Vic Lawrence. How many have I counted now? and then the last thing that I did before I transited to becoming an entrepreneur was to work in an FMCG environment. That was 7up. Letitia, I'm not a lecturer, I'm just trying, but we'll see. Hopefully, I'll be able to change your minds about some things about the CV. So what I just did in about 2 minutes was to give you my CV. That's exactly what I've done. That introduction was my CV. So how did it look to you? Let me hear you. Let me see what you say about my CV. I've just given you my CV. Since we are discussing CV optimization, what do you think about my CV in 2 minutes? If I was looking for a job and you were the HR line manager MD, please tell me, will you employ me? Aditola says sounds interesting. Okay. So that means Aditola will employ me. Personal branding. Okay. Okay, maybe this is part of my personal branding because I've got TYFN, which is one of the networks that I manage. I didn't mention that, but without me saying it, I'm already branding myself with TYFN. So I didn't mention my roles. Okay, so this is definitely somebody in HR. If I didn't mention my roles. Okay, so I started with sales as a sales executive, moved into consulting as normal consultant. My first HR job was at yes, as a consultant in executive selection and training. And then I moved at some point to Standard Chartered Bank as resourcing manager. After doing resourcing at Standard Chartered and doing consulting again at People Temp, I moved to Stanbic IBTC in 2007 as a head of HR. I didn't move into Stanbic IBTC. I moved to Stanbic. This was before the merger with IBTC. So I was at Stanbic as head of HR. And then after the merger, I also became the head of HR in the new merged entity. From there to Etisalat, and I did 3 roles in 6 years at Etisalat because, as you can imagine, I'm a bit restless. I think I counted 12 organizations that I've worked over a period of 30 years. So a bit restless, 6 years at Etisalat, but I moved laterally into 3 roles: head of business partnering, head of HR business partnering. I moved into HR operations, and then I moved back into business partnering and operations merged together. From there, went back to banking, MBN Quest as head of HR, moved into, I tried to do something for myself in February 2020. I actually started YF Talent Partners at that time for 3 months, but because of the pandemic, Glow came along, director of HR at Glow. I decided to take it, did it for 1 year, 10 days, and then I moved to 7up. And at 7up, I was there for 6 months before I started doing what I'm doing right now. So that's it. The roles, the organizations, and my journey so far. So who's ready to employ me? I'm looking for a role at Chevron or Mobil. I have not done oil and gas till now. So if there's anybody listening to me and there is an executive director opening at Mobil or Chevron, please let me know. I'll send you my CV. So that's me in a nutshell. Nice meeting everyone. And this afternoon, we're talking about CVs. It looks like a 1 year, 10 days. Yes, I counted the days, I promise you. Young, look, after some time, I was counting my days, but it's okay. That's story for another day. Don't ask me any details about any organization. Let's have that understanding now. Nobody should ask me any details about any organization, okay? But let me say to you, despite the fact that you might see me as a job hopper, right? The CV that I just gave to you now might give you an indication that I'm a job hopper. If you think so, it is yes, and I'm proud of it, no regrets. However, let me say this to you. At Standard Chartered, I was there for 4.5 years. At Etisalat, I was there for 6 years. FBN Quest, I was there for 3 years. 3 years, 5 months, and 2 weeks. And at Stanbic IBTC, I was there for exactly 3 years. So whilst I might have done the 6 months, the 1 year, the 9 months before or 10 months, it's to put everything in perspective, to let you know that yes, I hopped, but I wasn't moving from one bank to another. I wasn't moving from one consulting to another. I was looking for broad experience. And also because, like I said, I could be a bit restless. That's the reality. So oil and gas will be scared to employ me when I spend a short time in an organization. You'll be surprised. When the offer comes up, you'll be the first person that I'll call. Maybe just that I'm not looking out for an 805 anymore. But it's okay. So that's who I am. Can I just, let me delve into it. And let me ask you, because I like interactive classes. This is not just about only me coming to have a telling conversation. Let's make it a bit experiential. And I must say to you that I'm also willing to learn from everyone who's listening to me right now. I don't have all the answers to the problems of the CV world, but I can share some of my own experiences, and please, by all means, share yours as well. So CV, what is it about CVs that has given you some moments to doubt, some challenges? What is it about CVs that you find a bit challenging? Oh, wow, 19 people on the call already. Interesting. So what do you find challenging about CVs? Can I just hear from you, read from you, listen to you? Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to speak. I just want to have an idea. What are the challenges you have around structuring a winning CV? What are your challenges about writing a good CV? Talk to me. Unmute yourself, or let me, yeah, please, Oyediro Ibrahim. Let's go. Over to you. I can see your hand raised. Oyediro Ibrahim, you want to say something? Okay, I'll move on to Glory Nadoze. Please pardon me if I don't pronounce it very well. Forgive me. Glory, please go ahead. You've got the floor. Can Glory hear me? Okay. I'll move on to Young Oluokun then. You're unable to unmute. Oh, okay, I see. Funke, please, you might need to give participants the right to unmute if they're finding it difficult to unmute themselves.
Okay.
Funke, are you there?
It's done, sir.
Oh, so I can unmute now. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start again.
Thank you very much, sir. Listening to you, perhaps gives an idea that it's me that is being talked about. The only difference is the fact that I've not had the guts to do what you're doing. Or perhaps we share the same restlessness. However, to the questions of how to write that CV, because you've moved from one facet, sales, marketing, HR, and I'm aware that CVs have to be tailored. So how do you write the CV in such a way that it's enticing? That's my question.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Glory, yes. You can unmute yourself now, Glory. Ibrahim is saying, yes, how do you write that CV that will make it attractive so that you can get the next job? Yes, go ahead, Glory, please.
Okay, so mine is basically a question, a concern, and what I do now. So being in this discussion is a very good one for me. So usually trying to put my CV in a way that has the graphical designs of some CVs I see and all hasn't been possible. What I usually do is work with some foreign CV templates. That's I want to be sure that it's nice for an application for a senior leadership. So that I've been using during middle management and all the likes. But now the challenge is what kind of template or design should a senior manager's CV have. So that's basically the challenge and thoughts like going through my mind and seeing that a lot of people are even requesting for my CV now. This is like one of the best sessions. I'm really anticipating to have several answers to several questions. Thank you.
You're putting me under pressure, but it's okay. I'm happy that I have another 102 people on the call. If I can't answer all your questions, they will. But that's fine. Let's see how much of those concerns we can address, how many of the questions we can also answer today. Thank you. Abdul Rahman Musa, yes, please. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abdurrahman Musa. Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity to ask. My question, sir, where I have some issues is, one, is there any differences between CV and resume? Then two, what if a situation your CV reach up to 10 pages? So how could you summarize it so that the human resource that screen the CV, it will be very easy for them to scan within 1 minute? So I need more clarification on those two areas. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think your concern is similar to Sahid Alabi's concern. And he says, having concise 2-page CV while you have multiple experiences to put on the CV. Interesting. And the first thing you said was the difference between a CV and resume. All right, I got that. OJ, I have so many hands raised up and I'm so conscious of time. Okay, let's make it snappy. OJ, please go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon. This even makes it better. Abdurrahman just captured a part of my question. I'm bothered about the volume, the quantity of information that I can put on my CV. So I think he just asked that question.
Awesome. Thank you. Adewale Adegoke.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Can you hear me? Okay, I just want to clarify. Okay, I read an article on LinkedIn yesterday, and the writer was trying to advise that we should try to cut CV down to the only requirements. Like if you are putting in for an HR manager, you should forget about your past experiences. If you have worked as a teacher before that does not suit into HR, you should let that go. It means you should just put only the experience that tally with what you are going for. So I just want to know if that actually applies to what we are talking about, if it is a good advice.
Okay, thank you. And there are so many people online these days who will tell you CV structuring, CV formats, and at times I have found myself in confusing positions as well, I must tell you, but I'll tell you exactly what I did to get myself out of that as we progress. Vincent?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, boss.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mine is more of maybe an observation and maybe an inquiry too. I would really like to know what are those things, because Abdurrahman made mention of CVs being very bulky, voluminous, and all that. What are the things that should be excluded from resumes? There are some things like, okay, you have some school of thought that will tell you that it's always not too relevant to put things like age, marital status, and some other things like that. For women, for example, there are some job roles that when they discover that a woman is married, it's already like sidelined, even not considering the experience. Then another area is this one could just look like a suggestion. I don't know if it's too important. There are some roles that you're coming for whereby you need to go see what the job description of that role is, so that you need to retweak your CV to meet, not just you have a CV and you just put out that CV. At times, yes, you have that experience, but a particular job role could mean more of a particular or some experiences you have. So you might just need to check the job role, the JD, and actually like fine tune your CV to that. That's my suggestion.
Okay, so going through the job description, number one, the how bulky should your CV be, and secondly is job description versus CV, the ongoing battle. Okay, we'll come to that. Kelechi, please. Kelechi, Funlayo, and then Daniel.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I think my own is just like a concern. You know, when you started already, you gave us your CV on a one page. And those things you mentioned, I think looking at it, yeah, like you said, you have already outlined the details of the CV already, which I know is not more than one page. But right now, you now say something, maybe a lot of people will be looking at you as a job hopper. And I think that job hopper is not the real CV, because already I think CV is all about getting experience. And people looking at what I've done so far.
I'm not taking the session. Okay. Hello? Yes, I heard you. I heard you.
Yeah. I said at least any human resource that saw that CV, which I know that is just quite a page. Don't need to go further again to look other pages. because that job hopper alone is part of experience and it's already giving you what you really want from the person already. So now are you not telling us that now being a job hopper is not advisable or what?
Okay, so let me ask at this point, before I come to Funmilayo and Daniel, let me ask how many people, just by way of saying yes in the chat box or raising your hand, how many people read my article, today is Tuesday, my post on LinkedIn yesterday morning? Let me just see by show of hand. How many people? LinkedIn yesterday morning between 7 and 7:30. Okay, a couple of people, yeah. Okay, you did. All right. I did not put up, you did and you shared also, thank you, Franklin. I did not put up that post because of the conversation I was going to have today. I had already structured my posts. You'll be surprised that I've got posts for the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks on LinkedIn. So it's just coincidental. But to answer some of your questions, right? Or one of your questions is to say that I am not encouraging job hopping and I am not discouraging job hopping. Where I am is to say that we need to listen to people's stories, the reason why they move from one job to another. Now, given that short CV that I gave you, right? Given that short CV of myself that I gave you, the first thing that comes to anyone's mind, 12 jobs or more. When people are doing one job in 25 years, and then what they do is from there they start collecting pension. And what I have done is about 12 jobs. This guy is a hopper. I actually call myself a career nomad. I say it with pride that I'm nomadic. I have been nomadic with my career. But now that would be a generalization or conclusion to say is a job hopper. You do not know the full story behind the reason or behind the movement from one organization to another. And if you notice, I quickly moved on to say that I did not move from one bank to another bank. I did not move from one consultant to another. I actually changed sectors and I changed roles as well. So before you start saying I spent a year, 10 days at Globe before I moved on and say, oh, boy, this guy is unstable. Or you say, oh, 6 months or 7 months, what's he looking for? Also realize that I spent 6 years at Etisalat. Realize also that I spent 3 years at Stanbic IBTC. I spent 4 years and 5 months, almost 4.5 years at Standard Chartered. Now, look at the link. Without me saying too much, Etisalat, Standard Chartered, Stanbic IBTC, FBN Quest, I tended to spend a minimum of 3 years in those organizations. Now, look at the areas where I have spent, or I spent 1 year, 6 months. People temp. At Athornison as well, I spent 3 years. So people temp, Vic Lawrence, 7up, and Glow. You can almost categorize my reasons for hopping if you think through, without even asking me questions, if you think through my career journey and look at those organizations, it might give you an insight. But where I'm going is this. Let's not, because of what people have on their CVs, start making conclusions about the fact that they are not fit for purpose for an organization because they are hoppers. I don't think we should. We should know the stories behind the stories. That's where I'm going. So yes, I'm saying it. I could say anywhere. Let me actually tell you the truth. I got to a point in my career where I could tell anybody anything. You know what they say to us when you go for an interview? Be careful what you say on your CV about your last employer or about your current employer. Please, all well and good. And I'm saying to you that yes, please, let us, all of us, let us apply wisdom. Please, I'm saying it again. If you're going for an interview, please apply wisdom when you are talking about your current employer or your last employer. But I got to a point in my own career where it didn't really matter, I must tell you. So after I transited to becoming an entrepreneur, sometime in February, one of the 4 telcos approached me and they wanted me to work for them as HR director. Please send your CV. We have seen your profile. We have seen blah, 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 through a consultant in the UK. And I sent my CV. First conversation went well. Second conversation, meeting with the client, and the question came up, why did you leave the last employer? And I said exactly the reason why I left. The reasons people might not willingly want to share, but like I said, I got to a point in my career where, oh, I have to say it as it is. And I said it as it is. They gave me a feedback to say, oh, they're not sure if I'm going to stay or not. If I wanted to manage them and lie so I could get the job, I would have said so many other things from the textbooks or the things that they say to us. But the point is, it is also for those reasons, I think many people are in jobs where they are totally disengaged, but only connected with the salary and just marking time because of what people are going to say if I leave this job now, if I leave this job today. So we need to strike that balance. Guys, this is where wisdom comes in. We need to strike that balance between I'll say it as it is and, oh, I need to get another job. I'll leave it at that for now, and then we'll talk about more later. Funmilayo, yes, please. Then lastly, Daniel, and then we can move on quickly. Yeah. Funmilayo.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mr. Ayomi. Yeah, it's nice having to chat with you today. So my question is, what do you advise balancing time frame up in a CV? How do I mean by that? For example, somebody, it's still in line with job upping. For example, somebody has been on a particular role for years. Say, let me use the supply chain field as an example. For example, I was in, let's say, continuous improvement. Then later I moved to, let's say, health and safety. Then I now finally find pleasure in the new role I'm doing. Let's say I am working as a distribution planner now. And now I just got a job to work as a distribution planner, and I've just spent 6 months there, and I've found love already in that department. So having to now maybe apply to other locations, what is your advice, or how do I have to balance between the time frame? Say for example, I've been on that on a previous role for 2 years. So am I supposed to maybe put that still 2 years on the new role that I just got? So what is your advice on balancing up time frame in CVs? Thank you.
Okay, so let me answer that question later. If I don't, in the course of the conversation, please remind me, I'll come to it later. Daniel, last person with hands raised. Go ahead, please.
All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sir Wahed. Okay, you've actually answered some of my questions, but I want to bring this up. That is there a need for, say, for example, you don't want to talk about your previous employer, like probably you led the reports of the toxic work environment, and you just don't want to talk about them. And is there a must that you must put them on your CV? I'm just asking because we have to be fair enough. If I don't want to talk about something during the interview process, why should I put it on my CV? And most especially when you spend nothing less than 3 months, like say you join January and you left March. So is there a month that you must put them on the CV? So that's the question.
Okay, so how are you going to explain that gap on your CV? Is the question I'm going to leave with you for now, and then we'll come back to it later. Just think about it. So if you go to your CV, what is the story behind the gap? How do you explain it to traditional HR people who are still stuck in the rut of chronological, you must move from one place to another? How do you explain that gap? Let me leave you with that for now as we move on quickly. So, excuse me, what I will talk about this afternoon will include things like what we are doing is introduction already, CV styles and format, the do's and don'ts of CV writing. Go digital is a digital world, so why not go digital? And then we'll look at all the questions and concerns that have come up from conversation today, and then we'll see how to address them. But before that, I see that a couple of people said one or two things also in the chat box. Let me not ignore them, please. Somebody is saying that I should please share my own CV. Okay. How does one easily transition from education sector to HR without seeming to lie? If there is anything you must never do on your CV, please do not lie. right? Okay, I think those are the comments that I can see easily here. All right, we'll come to them. So guys, let's roll. What's a CV? And this is how I have described a CV in my own words. I'm not referring to anybody's definition. Your CV is your autobiography detailing your career journey. Your CV is your autobiography detailing your career journey. And let me quickly say that over the years till now, no one has ever written my CV for me. No one. It has never happened. I have never given my CV to an individual to say, look at it for me, structure it for me, look at it for me. Never. That's the first thing I'll say. And this is because we are sharing experiences. And I'm not saying, again, that you can do an autobiography and you can do a biography. A biography is somebody telling your story for you or on your behalf. An autobiography is you telling your story. I took the first as my own option, an autobiography. No one, I do not think that there is anyone who will be able to write my story on my behalf. I must be able to write my story myself. And that's the reason I have always updated my CV myself. Mark my words, updated. It will surprise you that the CV that I used, the structure and format of the CV that I used to get my job in 2007 at Stanbic IBTC has been the same structure I have used to date. And after Stanbic, let me tell you where I have been. I've been to Etisalat. After Etisalat, I went to FBN Quest. After FBN Quest, I went to Glow. After Glow to 7up. So 5 other organizations after that particular CV in 2007. All I have done is to only update that CV. As a new job comes up, I'll update the CV. And guess what? As soon as I settle down day one into another job, the second day, I'm not exaggerating, unless I didn't have a laptop yet, the second day will be to update my CV. That's it. That was my own way of autobiographing my life from a career perspective, right? So it's just, the summary of it is your life story from a career perspective. That is what you are putting down on paper for people to read. And they must be able to read that in a couple of minutes and make up decisions about you. Now, if I take the conversation one step further to move away from a CV and say that, oh, your CV is great enough, it has commanded attention for you to go to an interview, I say to individuals that your first 2 minutes at an interview must command interest in you for the panelists to want to continue the conversation with you. Number one. So now let me go back again, back to the future, to say that your CV at first glance must command enough interest for somebody to want to have a conversation with you at first glance. Yemi, do you have a particular structure in mind that will command attention at first glance? I'll say to you, no, I don't. Because I have recruited since 1999, and I cannot say to you that I have concentrated on a particular format of CVs over the years to recruit. No. It is great for the structure or the format of the CV to be attractive. But what is more important? What is more important for me is the content of your CV. The structure is good, but what we need to concentrate more on is the content of the CV. Just about 3 weeks ago, one of the individuals going through executive mentoring with me, she's a manager in one of the leading commercial banks today, and she sent me her CV and said, Yemi, please let me look at my CV. And in the very first paragraph on top of the CV, I picked up 3 different grammatical errors. 3 different grammatical errors, the very first paragraph. You know what I did? I didn't go beyond that. I just sent it back to the individual and I said, look, go through your CV again from start to finish. Look at all the things you've written, spend time to go through it. Your CV should not be what you do in a hurry. That is one tip I must give to you guys. Now, I'm sure that some of us who are leading people, who are managers of people, managers of individual or supervisors, we get reports every day from the individuals who report to us, and we get upset when you say, is that the spelling of privilege? I don't think I've done this for the Rome Business School group before. Can I quickly do an exercise before I continue on that stream of consciousness? Can I say that if you are very sure of the spelling of privilege, right, please type it in the chat box. If you are very sure. If you are very, very sure. Okay, I have one from Adio Yelaniyo. I have another from Isaac. I have from Biodo. I have from Ronti. And I have 2 variants already. Keep going. I have another from Adiola. Yeah. I have 3 variants now. I have 3 variants of the same word privilege now. Keep going. Yeah. Keep going. 3, 4, 5 more. I have 3 variants of privilege already. Okay, let's stop. Let's stop there for now. You see what I mean? 1 word, 3 different variants in a class of 142 executives. Should I tell you which one is right? I have number 4. I have number 4 already. Yes, I saw the 4th one. I'm not going to tell you who spelled the 4th one, but right here and now in 3 minutes, no, 2 minutes, a class of 144 individuals. We are all graduates, and I'm not being unnecessarily offensive, guys. I am being real. I have 4 different variants of the word privilege, and there is only 1 correct answer. 1 correct answer, and I have 4 in this class of 145 as I speak now. That is how serious you should take your CV. Oops, sorry. Okay, sorry, my laptop is playing some games with me. I'm trying to stabilize it. Okay, right. So just this afternoon, somebody sent me a message. And guys, this is my phone with me. Let me try and quickly see if I can find that message. It was on LinkedIn. It was a direct message. I try to be as real as possible when I have conversations like this. I'm looking for it. I can't find it, but because of time, I'll quickly summarize what the guy said. The guy said, I am trying to improve my communication skills. Good afternoon, wife. My name is da-da-da-da-da. Please, I am trying to improve my communication skills. What should I do? How should I go about it? Guess what my response was? I'm reading this from my LinkedIn, if you can say, my LinkedIn direct messages. What I said to him, I said, I think for 3 or 4 words, make the dictionary your friend. Make the dictionary your friend. 5 words. That's what I said to him. We take so many things for granted about the English language, about the English sentences, about the English words. We take them for granted. We forget, guys, that the recruiter, the line manager, is going to go through several options. And our first best foot forward is our CV. We cannot be spelling privilege with a D in 2022. We can't. And I have some individuals who will say that on their CV, whether they are talking about the chronological order of their experience or in their objective, career objective and all that, you can't spell privilege with a D. I'm sorry, Diola, you can't spell privilege with a D. You can't spell privilege with a double L. So guys, before you think finally that you have finished writing your CV, please go through it one more time. I am not emphasizing structure at this point. I'm just emphasizing content. Remember what I said. Let me give you some statistics so that we can have things in perspective. In 2019, we were trying to recruit graduate trainees, at FBN Quest. 14,000 applications successfully went through the process, 14,000 plus. We eventually invited 1,000 to do a computer-based test. We invited 75 to go through assessment center interviews. Guess how many people we were looking for? Just guess. How many graduate trainees were we looking for in a small boutique investment firm? 100? 5? 4? We were just looking for 15 to 20 graduate trainees. But we started that process from over 14,000 successful applications. What does that tell you? The competition for the role you're looking for is very, very stiff. Put your best foot forward. Don't assume and don't outsource that responsibility to anyone. You are in the best position to tell your story yourself. Josephine says, I think one issue is also pronunciation. When you pronounce wrongly, spelling it wrongly is inevitable. Absolutely. And that's part of the reasons why I said make the dictionary your friend. Either the hard copy dictionary or the digital dictionary, just make it your friend. Let me tell you one of the ways I improved my own communication skills. Even before I go into the university, yes, I studied English, but before I go into the university, every time I read novels in those days, in 1985, 1987, every single novel that I read, I had a notebook with me, HB notebook. Every new word that I came across, I'll write it down. I'll go check the dictionary for the meaning, and I'll check the pronunciation, and then I'll check the contextual usage, and I'll write everything down. I mean, I'm not saying I do that anymore, but that was me getting myself ready from a communication perspective. One of the ways our CVs get junked easily is because we are in a hurry to quickly do it and send it. Can I shock you guys? I write on LinkedIn every Monday. I write on other platforms from time to time. My post on Monday morning is usually ready, like I said, 4 or 5 weeks in advance. By Sunday, I am checking that post and editing and editing and editing. When I wake up the next morning, Monday, I usually post between 7 and 7:30. I'm not exaggerating. I typically have about 4 to 5 iterations of my post before I finally click on send. There are moments when I would have sent something and then I'll say, oh, yeah, just wait, read it one more time. And then I'll notice a mistake or two. And let me tell you, despite all those precautions that I take from time to time, in 1 or 2 instances in the last 6 months, people have said to me, Yemi, you made a mistake on your post, check it again. Don't be too much in a hurry to conclude your autobiography in your CV. Spend time to do it and do it well. Let me put it this way. Your CV is almost a representative of you, so that when you are walking on the street, people see the way you are dressed, and that is the way they will address you. It's the same thing for your CV from a career perspective. When people say it, it must command attention in the content and also in the structure. But for me, more in the content. It is your visual representation. It cannot talk, but it can say everything about you. Think about it. Your CV is, you're sending your CV to the marketplace, an ecosystem where you cannot go, but you can go there through your CV. And guess what? There are so many other people there. Everybody sitting down, talking, and your CV is there as well. What must you do to make sure that when the recruiter comes into that ecosystem or marketplace, your CV should command attention? It's the same thing, the same way when we want to get dressed and go out, and we do the perfume, and we do the cream, and we do the haircut, and we shave the beard for those who keep beard, and we determine the kind of top to combine with the pants or skirt, and then heels today or sneakers. It is the same thing with your CV. Give it time, give it a thought, give it attention. Don't rush it. And don't wait until somebody says there is a job available before you start putting your CV together. Remember what I said. If I get a job today now, my CV that I updated May last year, if I get another job today and I resume tomorrow, I promise you the first thing I'll do is update my CV. And what that allows me to do is that I am not ready to send it anywhere yet, but the shell is ready. And then from time to time, I'll revisit, add to it, subtract from it, tweak it, so that when the opportunities now come, I am ready for them. Don't rush it. Your CV is not only for job hunting. You know that it could also be needed internally where you work down for promotion. That's the reason you need to get it ready. What happens if your boss says, oh, send me your CV? There's a promotion conversation. That is when you now want to rush. Oh, my boss wants my CV. Because your boss possibly assumes that you must have a CV, but you don't. And the boss says, send it to me by close of business today. So what do? You start rushing it. Don't rush your marketing tool. Don't rush your CV. Content is key. Content is everything. Don't wait until it is needed before you get it ready. As soon as we finish the conversations of today, right? Sit down, give it time. Some of us, we give ourselves a lot of attention when we want to go out. Someone like me, if I want to go out at 4:30, I just need to start getting ready by 4 o'clock. Some of us, and this is not gender based. Some individuals, from 3 o'clock, they start getting ready because they want to go out, appear good, look good, command respect, which is all great. It is the same thing. Dress up your CV in the best available apparel, both from a content perspective as well as a structure perspective. Okay, it is your marketing tool within and without. Within the organization for promotion, or you want to go to a project, or they want to second you to the home office in Netherlands or in Portugal or in South Africa, and we want to see who you are. Spend time to do it well. Your CV is what you are sending on errand ahead of you, but as soon as they see your CV, they must almost visualize what you look like. Let me share a joke. Let me share a joke. If you put 10 people in a room right now, 10 bankers, if you put 10 bankers in a room and you are not with them, and they don't also know that you are watching them on CCTV, but you leave them in a room for like 1 hour, 10 people, before the end of that 1 hour, even without the individuals introducing themselves to you, I promise you, you will know who is a first banker. You will know who is from GT Bank. You will know who is from Zenith or Access in the way they will interact with other people. That is because they have been profiled in such a way that we can recognize them. For some individuals, when you see their kosoble, I'm not sure you know what kosoble is. You're not sure what they're wearing is a coat, a suit, or a blazer. Kosoble. Once you see them, you know that, yeah, that individual is from a particular bank, and I'm not going to mention the bank, right? If you see some other people in the way they are dressed or in their physical appearance, you will know. When some others start speaking, when they start talking, you will have an idea what bank they're working with. It's the same thing with your CV. You are sending your CV on errand so that once we pick it up and we start reading it, we begin to see or to have a visual representation of the piece of paper or the digital version of it on email in front of me. So it is not only for job hunting, it's for promotion, it's for involving yourself in a project, it's for secondment, right? And it is a visual representation of who you are. And lastly, yes, it should open the door of the interview room for you. But think about it. The days of mole in Lagos, if you want to go into a mole, everybody is rushing, but there's only one door. But everybody wants to rush to get through that door. It's not for the faint-hearted. Only the strongest survived in those days. Yes, when you see an engineer, you will know. And in these days, because of the hype around human resources, when you see us HR professionals in a conference, you know us. We are. You know how. You know what I mean. Yes. So an engineer, a professor, a medical doctor, a banker wants to. That is what your CV should do to you. It should be your forerunner to open the door of the interview room for you. So don't do it anyhow. We all tend to want to, is it not just to put my experience and all of that? An example, one year, one of the telcos that I worked, we were going through a recruitment exercise, and we saw a job description for a role in that organization on the system, in the system. What somebody had done was to take the job description of a similar role from another organization, right? And brought it to my organization where I was working. They just did a copy and paste. And this is where I'm going. Copy and paste. Guys, please don't do copy and paste. Your journey is your journey. Own it. It is your journey. Please own it fully. Like we say, with your full chest. Don't do copy and paste. In the process of copy and pasting, based on our experience of interviews over the years, we have seen names of other people in candidate CVs because they just did a copy and paste. And sometimes people had different versions of copy and paste, and they forgot which one they should have edited. And when the CV is needed urgently, they just go into the file and send anyone that is available. Spend time to do it. Don't wait until it's become urgent. You know what Stephen Covey said in the 4 quadrants of activities? For your CV, place it in quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 is where it is important, but it is not urgent. You will give it time. You will give it attention. You will give it your energy. You will do it very well. You will edit it, edit, and edit before you send, because it is in quadrant 2. If it's in quadrant 4, I think that quadrant 4 is where it becomes both urgent and important. You are likely to be doing fire brigade approach to putting your CV together at that time. Your CV should be there, ready, as in it should give you, excuse me, it should give you some level of confidence to say, where are the recruiters? Let them come and ask for my CV. I can't wait to share what I have done, what I have put down on paper or digitally. Let them call me. It should give you that kind of confidence. It is not Yemi calls you and says, are you interested in this job? And you're like, yeah, sure, why not? Send me your CV. And you're like, okay, yeah, sure. And you're saying, no, take your time. Even if you had spent time before and an opportunity comes up, friends, I'm saying to you, please take your time, especially with the content. Who needs a new CV? Everybody. You need a new CV from time to time. Everybody needs a CV. Your current CV, please go and check it for review. Does it have the right professional keywords? Professional keywords. If you see my CV, you should be able to see things around reward management, competency framework. You should see something around resourcing. You expect to see things around onboarding and offboarding. If you are in logistics, right, we need to see some things that speak to your professional space from a JD perspective. Now that I've mentioned JD, or maybe let me delay it to when we come to styles and format, but it should speak to an engineer's CV should speak to the function that he or she has done over the years. Don't forget, it's not just about words. We want to read things that will connect us with you. Yeah, that's what I've been looking for, connection. Your CV must connect you that nobody sees with the recruiter who is now willing and waiting to see you. There must be that connection. And guess what? We have now moved into a digital world where from start to finish, nobody might see you. I have a friend who's working in an Australian company, and I think I mentioned this on on Saturday when I was taking the class on, what did we do on Saturday now? I was taking a class on Saturday, and I did mention this example, an individual who's been 2 years working with a company in Australia, lives and works in Nigeria, and hasn't seen anybody in the organization. Till today. Yes, we're talking about HR analytics on Saturday. Till today, from submit your CV to interview to offer letter, this friend of mine hasn't seen anyone in the organization where she works. So don't think that, oh, by the time they see me, I'll be able to say more. In fact, when they see me and my suit and all that, the world has changed. They might not see you anymore. They might even invite you for an interview and they might say to you, no, you don't need to put on your video, or put on your video for the first 3 seconds or 3 minutes, and then you can, because of connectivity and all that. So your CV has become an all-powerful tool for you to open doors of opportunities. Don't miss it. So you need a CV to talk about details about you. Now, when you're talking about details and somebody asks this question, let's be careful. We're also dealing in a world where almost everything is considered discrimination. Nobody needs to know about your sex. I have taken that away from my CV from 2010. Male or female, it's not there. And I'm not saying it is wrong. I'm just saying that the environment, the world itself has moved into a phase where it really doesn't matter anymore, whether it is male or female. But if you feel comfortable to still identify that way, by all means, it's not a minus, but it might be a plus that you are moving with the times. Age is no longer on my old CV. It's not been there for a while. I took it out in the first format that I did in 2007. Yes, when I was moving away around 2010, the world was already changing. I'm moving away from discriminatory things. So I moved away from that. State of origin. What does that matter in today's world? That I am from Oriade local government of Osun State and I'm applying for a role in the UK, or I'm applying for a role in Nigeria. What has that got to do with anything? Unless I'm applying for a role with the federal government or a state government, maybe. But if you are in corporate Nigeria or within the corporate world, what has state or religion got to do with anything? Let's move with the times as well, okay? And your CV should be chronologically written. We want to see what you've done, what you are doing now, or what you did last first. I'll say that again. We want to see what you did last or what you are currently doing first, because that is the immediate link to tell us if we are fit for purpose, i.e. you can do the job based on what you did last or what you are doing right now. So let it be chronologically written. So if I am going to apply for a job right now, the first thing anybody should see is Chief Talent Officer, YF Talent Partners. It shouldn't be the last thing that anyone will see. I shouldn't go start from when I was a lecturer at the university in 1990 or 1991. What is that relationship between that and the role that I'm applying for right now? That is a kind of connection we must make immediately with the role that we are applying for or the roles that we want to apply for on our CVs. There must be that immediate connection. That immediate connection between what you want to do and what you're doing. Now, let me answer this question in the mind of some people and possibly in your mind as well. Should I adapt my CV to every job that is available? My response to that is capital letter no. N-O. And I am sorry that some of my colleagues in the HR world have said this to you. Some are individuals who are career influencers, social media influencers, and they would have said this to you. Please, at this moment, do either Control or ignore, or if it is already deep-seated within you, do Control Alt Delete of that idea. Do not attempt to apply for every role that comes across you. And this is where I come to the issue of packaging, styles and format. This is where I come to the issue of packaging. Never, ever, ever, ever package your CV to suit roles that you are applying for. A CV is an opportunity for you to package your experience, package your skills, and package your qualification. Those are the three things you should package. And if those things are not changing, there is absolutely no reason why you should be packaging your CV, because you're applying for customer service role today, and you want to apply for human resource role tomorrow, and you want to apply for operations or supply chain day after. It just, when we see, remember what I said, that your CV goes ahead of you in a room interacting with other individuals. You will be an individual clothed in many colors, and we don't really understand who you are. Somebody can't hear me. Ekenedili Chuku can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? Is it me or is it him? They can hear me. Okay, so please, all right, thank you. If I think it's your network, Ekenedili Chuku, it's your network. If you want to maybe exit for a few seconds and come back, things are clear from this side. Thank you. So I said that you must package three things on your CV. I got your question, Jude Thaddeus. You must package your skills, your experience, and your qualification in your CV. Package it in a way that it becomes a selling point. Don't package your CV in a way that suggests that you are lying. Don't package an HR experience, skills, qualification for a CFO role. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The best you can do is to package yourself. You can package yourself from a leadership perspective. For instance, so you've been an HR manager and you think you are ready for the CHRO role, right? That is Chief Human Resources Officer. Yes, you can package your skills, experience, qualification in addition to the leadership qualities that you have acquired over the years to move you into a CHRO role. By all means, yes. But please, let us move away and let us discourage as many young people in our circles of influence to please move away from over-packaging CVs to fit every role. So it is one of the fallacies coming out of the current generation to say that you can apply for any role. All you need to do is to package your CV. It doesn't work. It's one of the reasons why some people will go for interviews and we will ask them questions and they will say, oh, do I have that in my CV? And I'm not exaggerating. We have seen it before. We have seen it before. Somebody say, oh, did you really see that in my CV? And we'll be like, it's my own CV, not your own CV. But that's the reality because of packaging and over packaging. So this is me who's at one CV in the last how many years, 2007 till now, about 15 years, one format of a CV, not packaged in any way. I can't change the fact that I work with Standard Chartered and I was resourcing manager. I can't package that to fit into a chief client services role or something. I can't. It just doesn't work. So please don't cook your CV. Don't package it. Make sure that you are still the same individual. We will recognize you. If we see your CV today and we see the same CV in another environment tomorrow, let recruiters not say, this guy applied for customer service yesterday. This same guy is applying for human resources today. So please be careful in terms of the format of your CV. Whatever format you choose, there are different formats, but whatever format you choose, what you cannot do is to unnecessarily over-package your skills, your experience, and qualification to meet roles. All right, Jude Thaddeus, you have a question. I can see your hand raised. Jude Thaddeus, your hand is raised. Do you have something to say? Okay, I'll go to Isaac Bolaji. Okay, yeah, Jude Thaddeus, go on.
Yes, so thank you, sir. So I'm trying to really understand this. So for example, In the last 5 years, I worked as a teacher, I worked as a human resource personnel, and now I am a CEO. So I'm trying to apply for
and now you are a what?
resource.
I didn't get that.
A CEO. Okay, first of all, okay, last 5 years, for example, I've worked as a teacher. Then from a teacher, I moved to human resource personnel. Then from there, I moved to a CEO. So currently, I'm applying for the role of maybe something different, like a customer service. No, an HR personnel. Now, I'm trying to really understand, do I have to take the teacher role and CEO role and just stick to the HR role, or just have everything sent to the HR personnel?
So you did those roles. You were a teacher. If you check my CV, I have it there that I was a lecturer 1990 to 1994, University of Ilorin. You did the role. So it's fine. Remember, we're saying that it's a chronological representation of your career journey. So whatever you've done, by all means, put it there. What we are saying is this, that you've done teaching, you've done HR, and you haven't done customer service. Customer service, maybe chief customer service officer, C-suite. You haven't done customer service before, but you're thinking, I should be able to do it. You now come back to your CV. In your HR and teaching role, you now start to include responsibilities related to chief customer services so that you can get the chief customer services role. Very smart recruiters will find you out easily. That's what we're saying. However, let me quickly say this. Along the journey of your career, you could pick up transferable skills, either by reading, interest, certifications, or experience of volunteering, for instance. By all means, you can include those ones in your CV. So I said to you that I was a lecturer. I started in sales. I moved into marketing. From marketing, right, the same CV that I used to get my sales job, I think I just updated it for marketing and I sent it to Arthur Anderson. They were looking for a senior consultant, right? The experience they were looking for was somebody who could manage individuals with little or no experience from admin perspective. But because I had done sales and as a client services executive and manager at Tequila, my manager then realized that I had some skills. She gave me a chance. However, it was a chance for me to come through the door for the interview. During the interview, I still need to support my application to say that these are the requirements of the job. These are the things I have done. Based on transferable skills from sales into marketing, I think I am in pole position to be able to do this job. That is not packaging. I haven't changed anything. I just explained exactly. Your CV should be raw facts about you. Be careful how you manipulate because you are looking for a particular role. This is what I would do. I would rather stay on the things that I know, the things that I have, the things that I'm experienced in, the knowledge and qualifications, and be looking for roles that will meet those, rather than be looking for any role and then coming back to my CV to adjust or package. No, I will package my experience, my skills first and foremost, and that will inform, therefore, the sort of roles that I will be looking for. I'll come to you in a minute. Isaac Bolaji Adetuji. Let me give you an example because again, I keep saying I love sharing real life experiences. When I was going to leave Glow, somebody spoke to somebody. By the way, let me also say that I have not applied for any jobs since after my first 2 jobs. After the sales and the marketing role, everything has been by referrals. So I said that to say this. The CV will get you your job. How you do the job will guarantee your career. I'll say that again. The CV will get you the job, CV plus interview if you do very well, but your performance on the job itself is what will guarantee your career. Your job is what you're doing right now. Your career is into the long term. And I want us to have a a focus on our career rather than just the jobs that we are doing right now. So all we are saying, please, it's very important that we get the CV right, but this is just a step in the door. Interviews, you kill it, a second leg in the door, you get the job, but that's not the end of it. What's more important, I just quickly need to put this in. What's more important is you become good at what you do to the point that you probably may not need to write CVs again before you are invited for the next job. So I'll go back to the experience I was going to share before I call Isaac. Now, while I was at Glow, somebody in my network said that the MD of 7up was looking for solid HR individuals, mid-career to fairly senior level. And because I have a network of HR professionals, the YF network, HR people are in there, accounting people, finance people, sales people, entrepreneurs, businessmen, they're in there. This guy said to him, he said, sure, I know somebody who has loads of HR people. We can talk to him and get referrals. And the MD said, oh, okay, I mean, why can't we talk to the guy himself? Now, listen to this. When my friend came to meet me, I said, oh, I thought we were looking for individuals within my network. He said, yeah, the MD says he wants to talk to you and all that. So I went to see him day one, great conversation. And then I went to see him day two, and we moved away. The conversation moved away from HR director, CHRO role to Chief Corporate Services Officer, where I was now going to be handling HR, legal, admin, corporate communications, and the training and coaching academy. Now, the CV was not what gave me that conversation and that opportunity. It was a referral based on what one had done over the years and also building solid professional network. So please, I'll say it again. This conversation is limited to how we structure our CVs with the right words, the right content. Don't over-package. Package your skills and experience, but ultimately, don't forget, I would rather you be in a position where you are great at what you do. And when we are talking about supply chain individuals at your cadre, at your level, your name comes up when we are talking of the first 10, or you are in HR, your name comes up when we are talking about one of the first 10, then your CV becomes a secondary tool for you to move ahead in your career. Your ability to do what you're doing very well and become a reference point becomes more important than your CV. All right, so Isaac, your hand should be paining you now. Let me allow you raise out, put down your hand. Please go ahead, Isaac.
Okay, yes, thank you for that. It's really feeling me already. Thank you. Okay, all yes, right. I actually dropped the question on the group chat, but then
okay, all right, I've seen it. What about a situation where you are overqualified? Okay. Say the need ND holder, but you are a graduate and the offer is attractive to you, at least for a start, looking at the current state of the country employment-wise, is it okay to leave some information out in this case? This is the danger of leaving the information out, Isaac. If you leave it out on your CV, and I promise you that we always do what we call reference checks. What if reference checks now bring up things that you leave out on your CV? That is a danger. And I have seen instances where things were left out on CVs, they were found out, and the individuals were said to be of no integrity. And I'm not kidding, I'm not exaggerating. However, it's a bit tricky. If you've got an OND, right? And this role, no, if you've got an HND or a BSc, and this role requires just an OND, and you put your OND forward, I promise you that it will take 3 months only before you send that HND yourself to HR, because you'll be looking for other jobs within the organization, or you will want to. And then jobs will be passing by and you'll see adverts in the organization and you see vacancies and you're like, oh, but I have an HND. So HR will be asking, but you didn't put that on your CV. So there is a slight danger in there. Some organizations may overlook it. Some forward-looking organizations in today's world may overlook it. And I promise you that so many individuals, my colleagues, HR, we are still yet not moving as fast as we should with the times, and the individual might be walking on very tight rope. And this is a young saying, it's very dangerous. A colleague lost a juicy job because of skipping details 2 months after recruitment. Believe me, as much as possible, try to not leave out details that will put you into trouble. Try to not do it. All right. One more before I continue. Franklin, yeah, go ahead, please. Franklin Ene.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
I have a question, and where I work currently as an admin officer, my job cuts across various departments. I find myself doing a little bit of HR, finance, logistics, and all that. So do I include all that in my CV as an administrative officer, outlining those functions? Or should I just let my CV have the basic functions of an administrative officer?
Why? There are things that you did. Please include them. Even if you do volunteering, include them. The point is, give it a slot on your CV, and don't unnecessarily make it the focus, but put it in there. I mean, on my LinkedIn profile now, you will see something like mentor of the global grid for Nexford University. That's one of the things that I do outside of my HR advisory consulting. It's there. Will it add to anything for me? I think so. So it's there. There is a society where I'm on the chair of the advisory board. It's there as well. So if there are things that you have done, if there are skills that you have acquired over a period of time, if there are projects that you have worked on that will add value to your recruitment or application process, by all means include them. Despite the fact that you are an admin manager, at some point I was head of HR at FBN Quest, but for 6 months my boss went away on extended maternity leave, and I was acting COO. It was there on my CV. In fact, that one is there, very gadagba, if you know what I mean, on my CV today. It is there because it was one of my highest achievements before my last role as Chief Corporate Services Officer. So put it there. Despite the fact that it wasn't my job full time at that time. But the point is this: did you do it? Did it add benefit to you? Will it add benefit to your application process? By all means, please include it. But be careful how you structure it. I would structure it from an achievement perspective, i.e. the things that you did in addition. So maybe if you put your chronological sequencing in your CV, the things that you did while you were at that company, in addition to your core responsibilities, give it a slot. After your core responsibilities and achievement, give it a slot and say, in addition to all this, I was a member of this project group. I did this, I was this, put them there. It takes absolutely nothing away from you. Okay, I'll come to you, Ayodeji. I'm very careful of time, though looks like we're enjoying the conversation, but let me just quickly go into the chat box. I don't want to miss out anyone. Sir, could you advise on either chronological arrangement or relevance arrangement of certificates acquired? Sincerely, it doesn't matter. You could start with your certificates. For instance, if you are a project management professional and you have your, is this Lean Six Sigma they call it, or your PMP, you can put it there. It quickly says something about you. At some point, I actually flipped. That was what I did. I flipped my my chronological order. So when I was talking of chronological order, I was talking of the experience itself, right? The certificates will fall into the structure of the format. So do you want to start first with your learning and development journey? You can do that. Sincerely, you can. You can start with your first biodata, and the next thing, I actually did try that at some point. The next thing, your learning and development over the years, and then your experience in chronological order. Or some individuals will prefer, no, let me showcase my experience and therefore achievement first, and then my learning and development will come later. All right, so that's for Bala. Isaac, you've asked your question. what happens to the 2-page rule in crafting your CV? The question I'm going to ask is this, right? So I have had about a 30-year work experience. Somebody needs to advise me how I am going to put all of that in 2 pages. Somebody needs to tell me how I am going to put all of 30 years of work experience, 12 organizations. I worked in 12 organizations over a 30-year period. How am I going to put that in a 2-page summary? I think that rule is just to say basically that don't put in the irrelevant things on your CV. That is what it says to me. 3 pages, 4 pages. I mean, if there's an individual who's at entry level and we already have 4 pages, there will be some irrelevant, there will be so many irrelevant things in there. That's what it means. But the 2-page CV, I think it is neither here nor there for me. Okay, I'm going down on the chat box. The CV will get you the job, your performance will guarantee your career. Absolutely. Somebody is looking for a data analytics role. We have noted that we will be on the lookout. We've talked about the 2-page rule. Do not skip anything on your CV that could put you into trouble, please. Okay, so Oyediro says, I'm seriously at the loss. Where do I start from? What do I write in my CV to be attractive? I've been a lecturer for 18 years, but need to diversify and move. The academic CV is full of publications, hence may be unsuitable. Who says it to be unsuitable? I don't agree, sir. What I think is that you need to be looking for roles where your academic experience over the last 18 years will be relevant. And there are several roles like that. I come across them. I think we need to be looking in the right places. Again, you can't change your 18 years of being a lecturer into something else because you want to get another job. No, you've got to change the direction of your search for the roles that will match your experience of the last 18 years. The United Nations and its various organs and bodies, they're looking for people like you. Sincerely. Why not? Look for those jobs. UNDP, UN, UNESCO, and all of that. They're looking for individuals who are solid in the area of academia. Why not? You can't change your CV. What you've done is what you've done. However, please, can I say that what you can do is to flag your other skills over the years. For instance, have you been doing consulting? I know that some consulting firms actually do recruit from the universities because some lecturers will have done consulting whilst lecturing and they can easily move into the consulting space. Or you want to go into training firms, a lecturer can seriously move into an area where he or she is delivering training on a continuous basis. So I'll say it again. There is nothing wrong with your qualification. There is nothing wrong with your 18 years of being a lecturer. But the point is, what are your options? Your options are not everybody's options. Your options are your options. You need to sit and decipher what exactly you want to do next, and therefore focus on those areas based on 1, your skills, and 2, your transferable skills. Okay. Humble markers, like your opportunity to get the skill, but it's different from your profession. Absolutely. Not small danger, but a very big one, still lending credence to not leaving out anything from your CV. Okay, what is the best number of pages? I think I've answered this question. Neither here nor there. It depends on where you are on your journey. My CV now is, at some point, it was about 9 pages. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm talking about 12 organizations over 30 years. But at some point, I think I changed it to 7 pages. But the point is this, let me help you go through the things that should be in your CV, the do's and the don'ts, and then if we still have other questions, we can wrap it up. Ayodeji, please go ahead before I continue. Ayodeji, are you still there?
Yeah, okay, hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I want to ask, what about in a situation where you've been working in you have a total work experience of, let's say, 5 years in an organization, and within the 5 years, there was a time maybe the company had issues, they changed your employment status from permanent to contracts, then later you still come back to permanent. Will you leave the 5 years as a stretch, or you separate when you had a permanent offer from when you had a contract offer, a temporary employment?
Sincerely, I'll leave it as a stretch. I'll leave it as a stretch. You didn't exit the organization. I'll leave it as a stretch. That's what I'll do.
Okay.
Again, the devil is in the details. During the interview process, be careful of how much details you give as well, right? The devil is in the details. Be careful of the details. One of the things that I have said was to say that you should respond to questions from a KISS perspective, KISS. Keep it simple and short. The more you talk and talk and talk, the more they find what to ask and ask and ask. So let your responses be direct. But on your CV in that instance, there was no break in your employment, right? But if there is a need during the interview process to now probe, you can explain it, and it happens. It happens. It's reality. Why not? But you don't need to skip it, or you don't need to show that there was a gap in your employment. From 2015 to 2020, you were in that organization. If you change roles, put it there that you change roles, right? It doesn't take anything away from you at all. Okay, I see Bernard's hand raised up. I'll come to you. Let me just quickly tell you the content that must be your CV. Of course, your name. I'm not in a space where you should write career objective. I think it's too cliche, guys. I think it's too cliche. Career objective, it's too cliche. If I don't see, I cannot remember how many career objectives I've read. I'm just going straight to qualification and experience. That's what I'm going straight to. Career objective, if you ask me, is a waste of space. What you could do is to do a kind of professional summary in 1 or 2 paragraphs, right? As a start to your CV. And I think I do have that right now. I have 2 or 3 things. So things like I'm a member of CIPM, things like the sectors that I've worked over a period of time, I just have them in 1 or 2 paragraphs as a start. So that is where the attention actually starts from for me, rather than the career objective. You know what we call a profile summary? Just summary. Just summary, so that before the individual gets into the details, they have an idea of who you are. That's number 1. Number 2, you can't skip your work experience, your employment history, and also your achievement. As a matter of fact, let me start with achievement. Start with achievement. Achievements are more catchy than just chronological sequencing of what you have done. Once you have said that 2020 to 2022, this is what you have done, you could go straight up to achievement and say, whilst there, but please also, when you are writing your achievement, be careful, there are things you have done. It's important for me to emphasize this. Whatever can be found out to be untrue, do not include in your CV. I'll say that again. Whatever can be found out to be untrue, please do not include in your CV. Your education, if you have professional affiliation of membership, your training, professional and executive education, if you have key skills in IT, key skills in other areas, like I said, transferable skills, and if you've done voluntary work, I've said it before, or volunteering work, if you have interest in, for instance, you spend your time with an NGO, you are on the advisory board of certain organizations that might not be related to what you're doing, but you spend your time, you give your time, because we are also looking, especially at the levels where most of us are now, we are looking for things beyond our 8 to 5 activities. We are looking at how we impact our ecosystem, how we impact our environment, our community, and all that. So I'm always happy to quickly say, hey, I am the founder of TYFN. And somebody says, oh, what's TYFN? Then that's when you see my face lighting up, because I want to tell you what TYFN is about. I am the founder of the YF Academy. It's there. If you look at my profile on LinkedIn as well, it's there, so that it will generate more interest beyond experience, beyond qualification, beyond. And believe me, I have seen conversations move from that area of interest into possibilities, either business or just general interest, because people just want to know what else you do. And those are training grounds as well for individuals who are going to be leaders in the organization. Don't forget that by the time we start calling you a manager, some things about you are assumed. So it's not just your professional competence, it's also your leadership capability. So how have you shown, or how are you showing those leadership capabilities beyond the things you do during 8 to 5? Don't unnecessarily use caps. That's one of the things that we like a lot. These are now I'm still talking about the do's. Don't unnecessarily use caps. Let me tell you an example of what I mean. I am skilled in relationship management, and I see people who write relationship with capital letter R and management with capital letter M. Why? It's still a sentence. So one of the things I want you to please go and review for me today is the areas where you have unnecessarily used caps in your CVs. Those capital letter things are absolutely redundant. Absolutely redundant. Let there be a free flow, smooth flow of your conversation with the individual reading your CV. Ensure your CV is properly justified and aligned. Now we are talking about format and we're talking about structure. Please ensure, don't use single spacing when you're talking about your job at Standard Chartered. And now when you're at Stanbic IBTC, you are doing double spacing. There must be consistencies around font size, font type, what you are bolding, what you are underlining. There must be consistency from start to finish. If you have strengths, by all means, put them in there. But also be aware that once you put them on your CV, questions will come up about them. If you write that you are XYZ, there are individuals on the interview panel, that is where their concentration of effort will be. You say you have key strengths in coding. I'm just giving an example. Okay, so please come and code this thing, because the guy now says I'm a coding person. So please come and be careful the things that you cannot justify on your CV. And lastly, in terms of the do's, please make it clear, make it neat, and make it tidy. Those are the three watchwords actually for me, beyond how many pages, beyond the format, should it have pictures and all, just make it neat. Make it easy to read, make it attractive, right? And you'll be surprised that somebody somewhere will want to go through. Make your CV a storytelling approach. Make your CV a storytelling approach. Let whoever is reading follow you, almost like me having a conversation with you about me, and you are nodding as you read. Try and make your CV so interesting that whoever is reading is actually reading and nodding. Like I used the word before, connected to the things that you're saying. Don't do things in abstract. So this is what I'll say. Put together your CV with your audience in mind. I have put this conversation together with you guys in mind. I've asked various questions from Funke about where you are in your career journey and all that, as much information as I could get. And that informed my presentation to you this evening. Is the same thing with your CV. You've got to have your audience in mind, and therefore engage your audience from start to finish. Avoid the use of I, we, me on your CV. Make it very, very impersonal. Make it as impersonal as possible, except the point where you are doing your professional summary at the beginning. I went to Loyola College for my secondary school. Bullet point 1. Bullet point 2. I went to IFE for my first. No. They are straight to the point, bullet points, the job responsibilities that you achieved, the achievements in terms of target, sales volumes, and all that. Try and avoid being unnecessarily personal in your CV. Use bullet points to highlight. And please, this is another important one. write your past experiences in past tense. You will not believe the things that I read on CVs. I'm not kidding you. Some people have worked from 2007 to 2010. They are talking about their role as head of HR at that time, and they are using I am, and they are using I have, and they're using present tenses to describe their experiences in the past. Please, that is another key. Now, someone like me could be very critical when it comes to grammar and tenses and structure. Once I see that, I am likely to lose interest in the CV. And I'm not alone. I'm not saying that everybody who reads your CV will be that critical, but I mean, to whom much is given, much is expected. I'm expecting you to move into a leadership position, and I'm seeing you write your past experiences in present tenses. That means that if I give you this job and you are presenting to Exco, you will be struggling with your tenses. That is just what it says to me as a summary. So write your past experiences, I beg, in past tenses, not present tenses. All right. Do not write big header curriculum. Some call it vitae, some call it vita. Some just write CV. Not necessarily. What you are sending is your CV. You don't need to unnecessarily now label it a CV anymore. Just put your name and send it. Do not include things that relate to religion. Things that we can avoid, things that are not relevant, please don't. Now, these are the cliches that I said to you that you should avoid. An example is this. I am a dynamic team player, multitasker, self-starter, organized, talented. How many people have seen such words on CVs, or how many people have used such words on CVs? I'm sure you can relate. They are unnecessary cliches, taking up spaces that you can use for something else. It is, and that is when you do your career objective. I am a dynamic, talented. That's not what we're asking you. That's not what we want to know, right? Talented from whose perspective? Dynamic from whose perspective? From your perspective, or from the individual who was your line manager on your current role or last role and did not see you as in any way talented or dynamic, right? Yeah. You use those words during NYC. Some people have carried it over from NYC days till today. You do not need to do that. And then last one that I'm going to say about the don'ts, and that's where I'm going to end. Please, your email addresses, make them professional. Make them professional, your email addresses. sexybola@yahoo.com. slayqueen_2018@gmail.com. Make them, if you still have them till today. We all had those things when we were growing up. It was trendy to have such email addresses. Yeah, Glory can relate. Glory Hallelujah at Glory Hallelujah. Anyway, let me not make fun of Glory. I mean, there's so many of those things. If you still have them, please change them. Those things are communicating. They're communicating certain things to the individual who's reading you, right? And you see, some people still say, no, there is freedom. What has that got to do with what I have upstairs? It's got to do a bit. The lines are blurry, I understand, right? The lines are very blurry between our private lives and our professional lives. But when it comes to professional things, can I advise us to stay professional? So if you have all those funny looking, how do I put it now? It just doesn't give the optics. Thank you. I think it's Young who said that. Yeah, the optics are not just great for your CV. Take them out. It takes about 5 minutes, just about 5 minutes to open or less to open another email address today. As soon as we are done, please go ahead and change the email address so that your CV can be more professional in outlook, must be more professional in structure, and also in format. Somebody said the caps. No, it's not related to a CV alone. I see that a lot in the things that I read. People use caps a lot. The next time you are writing a report, you are sending an email, you are doing something, please check the use of your caps. If they are redundant, they are unnecessary, right? It's not just restricted to CVs. Mabel, it's for general conversation or communication in written language. It is almost at times that you are a bit unconscious of the things that you are writing. So take them out. And it's 4:40, 20 minutes to 5. That's where I'm going to stop right now. And I'll take some more questions from Bernard, Kingsley, and Isaac. And if there are other questions in the chat room, I'll take them as well. Thank you. How should a professional email look like? My own email address is yf@yanifashim.com. That's because I have a domain. Before now, my Yahoo address was my first daughter's name, tiwajope@yahoo.co.uk. That's it. I mean, just make it as professional as it can be. Avoid the sexy, above the slay, above the things that will not give professional optics, according to Young, to your CV. That's Bala. Thank you. Okay, Bernard, I'll go with you first. Bernard, do you have a question? Your hand is raised. If we are waiting for Bernard, can we go with Kingsley?
Yeah, good evening.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Please go ahead. I can hear you.
I'm glad to be part of this discussion.
Thank you.
I really want to ask a question. I need to be clarified on some things. In terms of, we are talking about the format of CV.
Yep.
For instance, in my CV, I have HND. At times we tend to put the period so year to so year. I did PGD, did my master's. Now went back to do BSc. You can see that it is a higher qualification, but the years are different. Now, what is the best way to put this in the CV? Since putting the period most times is necessary. Most CVs have gone through research. I only see the period so year to so year. You got the certificate so year to so year. So what will you advise on how to set this?
Just it's still chronological. I absolutely see nothing wrong in structuring it and giving us the dates when you picked up those certificates or degrees. Even if it's over a period of time, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. So that means it
actually shows a sort of continuous progress, growth, and education.
Okay. That's my question. Yeah, you get it. Thanks so much.
There is nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I mean, okay, so let me give you an example. I did my first degree was in 1990. My MBA was in 1995. I haven't done any other thing apart from professional trainings. The next thing that I got was I joined CIPM in 2018, and that's it. So if I'm going to do a PhD now, and I start this year, I'll probably finish in 2025, and that's what I'm going to have. 1990, 1995, 2025, because those are the years I picked up the qualifications or the degree. So it's got nothing. It actually shows progress, if you ask me, and we should give you credit for it.
Oh, thanks so much.
Awesome. Okay, Mubarak Adebayo, please unmute and go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the training, sir. I really appreciate that, sir. I would like to ask a particular question, sir. I actually studied education in school, and now I'm trans.
Sorry, I didn't get that. You studied what?
Education, primary education.
Education. Okay. All right.
So I'm now transferring back to HR due to my interest in that. So I've been taking some HR courses online. So how do I impute that to my CV, sir?
Have you completed them?
Yes, sir. Some are still ongoing, so I'm done with some. So how do I input them to my CV since I actually studied education, sir?
Doesn't matter. It actually says to whoever is reading your CV that you're getting yourself ready for the next job.
Okay, sir.
You see what I mean? Doctor is
Sir?
saying you can do the RBSN IHRM as well, in addition to the ones you are doing. But so where do you want, let me ask, where do you want to have your qualification, education and professional qualification? At the beginning or at the end? Make up your mind. Either way, it's fine. But let's say you want to have it at the end of your chronological sequencing of your experiences, right? So after that, what do? Your first degree, then your qualifications, the one that you've completed, the ones that are in view. I don't usually encourage that you put things in view. But if you want to put it in there, by all means, but you put them at the end, and then you let us know the years and the dates that you had those qualifications. Don't forget that we are not expecting you to interject your chronological sequencing with your qualifications. I think that is what we need to get right. We're not saying that, oh, because you did education and then you are a lecturer for 5 years, after that you did a certification in human resources and you now put it before the next job. No. Deal in a particular section. That's why we said that your CV must be neat and tidy. There are sections for bio, sections for learning and development, qualifications, sections for chronological sequencing of your experiences, and then you end the CV. Don't interject them with your qualification. So if I see your CV at first glance and I look at it and I remember something about it, I'm saying, oh, what qualification does it have again? I should go to the qualification section without necessarily going through everything again. And I'll see the years when you picked up those certifications. I didn't say career profile is not necessary on CV. I said career objective. You can actually have a professional summary at the beginning, but my career objective, I am a talented young, and my career objective is to become blah, 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 blah. It's redundant, if you ask me, very redundant on the CV. And that's for Ifejola, right? Okay, who's next? Isaac, you still have another question? Isaac, please unmute and go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I want to do with emails. You mentioned earlier that you use this rule of 4 to 5 times before you send out your posts. But let's say in a situation that you tried reading as much as possible and then you forwarded the email, and probably because of reading, where you're supposed to use a present tense, you have used a past tense or something. So, and then the mail is off. So in that situation, can someone quickly probably rewrite the mail, adjust the stuff and resend, though to be in the matrix? Or what do you think is the best thing to do in that situation?
So you are talking of a work situation and not CV, yeah? A workplace situation, you send a mail.
Yes, or even when you are exchanging mails with a potential employer, there is a possibility of something like that too.
Oh, okay. When you're sending a mail and you're attaching your CV, for instance. Okay. If it's possible, there are functionality that allow you to retrieve or retract. I think that's the word. Retract your mail if it's not been read by your receiver, and then you can change it. If it has been, honestly, you know what I would do? If I notice that mistake in my cover letter, for instance, and it's gone by email, and then I say it, I will send another one. I will send another one and I'll say, please ignore the previous one. Apologies, please find attached. I will do another one. Otherwise, conclusions about me will be made based on what they have read. So you're going to be hoping, I'm sorry, you're going to be hoping that the individual will be nice enough to ignore the first one and read and see where the mistake, or maybe not see, but I will not let it go. The first thing I'll do is to find or spend time to edit before sending. And then if there's still a mistake after that, I will either retract. If it's not possible, I will send another one. Okay, Jude Thaddeus?
Okay, sir. Please permit me to use the word "omo" because I have been omolized. So, to my first question, I am a recruiter, and I think most of what you have said, I've done like a resetting, default setting in my own brain. Now, what happens to other recruiters that are not listening to Uncle YF? How do they get this information? Because most times we still have recruiters still following the same method as it was in the beginning and all that. So how do we find a balance as HR personnel and professionals? That's the first. Then secondly,
no, let me take one after the other, right? So I don't forget. You still have the floor. So to that, there is something like this expression about the harvest. The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. So now, please, as many as 147 people, still 148 now, still on this call, please be ambassadors of these messages in your own circles. And great that you are in human resources when you are talking to your colleagues as well. The things that we've shared and learned today, let's continue. And for every opportunity that comes up for us to reinforce these messages, we will continue to do it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So to the last question, I've also heard most recruiters don't count NYSC experience because most core members go into to teach. So why? Have you heard something like that?
Well, I mean, it's how do I put it now? I think I am in that space as well. But the point is, we will say that we don't count it. We will say that what you did during NYSC, how relevant is it to the role you're applying for? I think that's what's important. And if you're thinking, oh, we require 8 years of work experience, and you have 7 plus NYSC, so they don't consider you. If that's your question, it's also the reason why some recruiters like you will say 8 years post NYSC experience, right? Because we don't have, unless people come to the point where their NYSC experience, they write also in details what they did, right? That must be relevant to the next job and the next job over a period of time, then it will make sense. But the point is, you said it right. Many people just go into that phase of life, many, not everyone, into that phase of life to just coast along and not learn anything. Most people, not all. I know that for Arthur Anderson, for instance, it's a 6-year career journey from entry to becoming a manager, right? And they count the years of NYSC as your year 1. So if I did my NYSC somewhere else and I joined now KPMG and I joined KPMG after my NYSC, that is my year 1. If somebody else served with KPMG, that is year 1. Because that kind of an organization from get-go, they started giving you work not as a copper, but as a full-time employee. But how many organizations are in that space? People go to lecture, some people are in Lagos and they are serving in Ilorin or Ibadan or Akure. We know the realities. So that's it. Unless you are so confident that what you did during NYC has been instrumental to getting the next job and the next job after that, then feel free to write it there and then support it to say that you have those experiences. But generally, it's tricky. Generally, it's tricky. Yeah. Okay, Simeon. Your question, Simeon. I still have a couple of people with hands raised. Simeon, please go ahead. Okay, while we're waiting for Simeon, Vitalis, are you ready with your question? Vitalis?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much. Wonderful time. I'm so glad to be among the participants of this lecture. I'm sorry, from time to time, I was struggling with the network. Okay, so I didn't flow all through, but I can boast that I was able to pick things that are very tangible. Okay, I want to ask this simple question, sir. Is it good to start with my name as the first write-up or statement in the CV, okay, or to write curriculum vitae as the first line of statement there?
Your name, just go straight up to your name. The document we are asking for is a CV. You don't need to label. That's redundant in that space. Very redundant. Just go up straight up to your name.
Okay.
Please find attached my CV, and you are sending it. It's your CV. But you know what? I am not thinking that anybody will be penalized for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you will be penalized, but I'm saying that it is just it's redundant. If you put it there, it's fine. If you don't, it's fine. But it's redundant.
Okay, thank you very much. Then the next thing that follows should be the summary of who I am, perhaps my profession and all that. Is that what you said? I heard you mention something like that.
Yes, the professional summary. You can have a professional summary rather than a career objective. I am a young man, self-motivated, inspired, dedicated, very unnecessary.
Okay.
Very unnecessary. But you can do a professional summary. I would say, for instance, that I've worked, I'm an HR professional. I've worked across different sectors, 3 banks, 2 telcos, FMCG. At some point, I was.
Okay, is what's it called?
Please, can you mute? We can hear you.
You are expecting rather, although it was sent late. It was sent on Saturday.
We can hear you, please. If you are not speaking to us, you can mute your mic, please. Okay, so go straight to talk about just to summarize who you are in 1 paragraph or 2. Again, just so that if somebody sees your CV the first time, interesting, and goes to do something else, and then remember, oh, Yemi CV. Rather than go through everything again, the individual can come and check the summary and just have a conversation whether to progress or not. Yeah. My name is Yemi Fashion on all my social media platforms, Humble Markers. So if you're looking for me on social media, just Yemi Fashion, you'll find me. Anywhere, it's the same thing. Okay. That was Simeon. Daramola Olumide, please, your question. Daramola Olumide.
Yeah, good evening,
yes,
sir.
I can hear you now. Good evening,
so, sorry,
sir.
It's Bernard Solomon on the line, sir. My system was having issues, so I had to link up with my friend to ask. That's fine. All right. My question is, I just need guidance because in my organization, I've worked for over 14 years now in my organization, and part of my movement, I have worked in a transport section, and from there I moved to HR. And I have been in HR for quite some time now, and I'm working tirelessly to see if I can pull out of a HR, because HR practice I'm not really finding it palatable. I want to get out of it, so I just need your guidance. I'm working on a career switch to move out. I'm into logistics and supply chain management now.
You want to move out of HR, or you want to move into HR?
I want to move out. I'm not finding it palatable.
This is the first person in a very long time that that I can see is tired of HR. Most people are running away from wherever into our profession, but you want to abandon us. No, that's fine. So there are two things as standard response to that kind of a question around career switch. 2 things. Number 1 is interest. Number 2 is knowledge.
All right.
And possibly number 3 is what 1 and 2 will lead to. So sustain your interest in the profession you want to go into, which is supply chain. By all means, please go ahead. In your conversations with people, like conversations like this right now, it's okay for you to have to continue to have a focus of where you want to go, what you want to do next. Very important. Sustain your interest. But number two, interest alone will not lead you there. The next thing is knowledge. How much of time are you investing in knowledge in that area? You've got to, there are three things that I say you must have as critical elements for growth in whatever area, whatever thing you're doing. Number one is a vision. Number two, sacrifices. And number three is risk. So what sacrifices are you willing to make in terms of sustaining your knowledge and increasing almost daily your knowledge in the field you want to go to? And this is reading, this is research on the internet, this is also certifications. And the last one, looking for opportunities always so that the things you are interested in, knowledgeable in, you can apply the skills. Because if you can't apply the skills, knowledge and interest enough will not, knowledge and interest only will not be enough for somebody to give you a chance. But if you say that, oh, in addition to my sustained interest, I have read, I have picked up research, I have done X, Y, Z, oh, I even have certification in this area, and on weekends or in my current employment, in project 1, 2, 3, I volunteered my time to help, then somebody will be willing to listen to you and then they'll give you a chance.
Thank you so much.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
But
Thank you so much.
Don't leave us in nature.
Thank you, sir.
Don't worry, just kidding. You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, sir.
All right. Yes. Uchechukwu Uche, and then Adiola after that. Uchechukwu Uche, do you still have a question? Your hand is raised.
Well, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine. I just want to say a very big thank you for this insight.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you very
Uche
much.
from 7up.
Oh, Uche, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
How's life?
Fine, thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Uche. All right. All right. Adiola, please go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for everything, the insights so far, and my apologies. I failed the first question, spelling privilege. Okay, so my question is, first, I just need just an advice from you, because there are times like that that I feel like, though my company where I work, I started because my background is, I studied banking and finance. Then it got to a point like that I had to stop my ICANN. Though I got a job as a software developer because I've been doing software over time. So after school, I just went into IT. But I felt, okay, there is just a place where I could begin to build accounting softwares like QuickBooks. So I started on a project, personal project, where I can build, QuickBooks, something like QuickBooks, Sage, and all those platforms. Then it got to a point, they moved me into a project that had to do with software development. Over time, because they see that, okay, Adiola is somebody who can really learn very fast. I had to drop ICANN for a while. I got to the professional level, I had to drop it. Then I had to move into the next project I had to move into was a data project, which was a very, very big project. I had to, in fact, drop everything I was doing. First, they moved me from a software development project after completing it, then into a data project. And over time, I've been doing data, over time. So it got to a point again, they moved me from the data science aspect into data analytics. Then I started the data analytics project, and I'm still at that point where I'm just into data. And the way it is, like, we have to read and read and read and read over time. So it gets to a point like that. I just feel like, maybe it's just me, I just feel like, am I doing the right thing at some point, or am I just in the right space? Of course, I am also I'm somehow just in between. I have people working under me, but there are times I just feel like, okay, when another project comes up and like that, they just push me into, other projects as well. So I'm just in between that space where I really don't know. I hope I'm making sense from what I just said.
Yes, you are. You're at a career crossroad. In summary, Diola, You are
Yes.
you are at a career crossroad. I think it's a conversation. It's quite personal. I think it's a conversation for us to take out of here. Funke has my details, email address, and phone number for as many individuals as are willing to have further conversation. I think we're supposed to actually kickstart a career coaching, how do I put it now? Kind of consulting for students of Rome Business School. So that's one area where we should find time to have a one-on-one conversation. So speak with Funke, and I also will speak with her so that we can start shedding these one-on-one conversations. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, Dela. Glory, I see your hand. Glory, do you still have a question?
Yes, please.
Yes, please go ahead, Glory.
Thanks for the session. It's been amazing, and I'm say I've learned a lot. But my question is on
You need to speak a bit louder.
Okay. Hope is better. So
Yeah.
the question is on catching in opportunities and discerning when to leave and when not to leave. So we've spoken about we've spoken about skill sets. There's usually a norm that you should work to within at least a minimum amount of years, a certain amount of years, and you shouldn't work beyond the threshold. So I'm in particular about the threshold. You a person working in a company or institution, and you feel the person that is long overdue to move, because now you need to move to gain vast experience across sectors. One, then that's my first question. The second question is on recruiters. So now we have recruiting companies and different parastatals into this. Some of them just come up and want to build their database, so they just move into LinkedIn, research keywords, and begin to send out invites professionals. So please, can you share your CV to this email and all the rest? I've seen one, and I asked, what do you need for? And I asked the position being considered, and also it was clear that there was no company and position because they are struggling to come up with different position descriptions and names. So I just researched and I found out. When you see all these recruiters, I just try to I want to understand how you handle that if you've had this kind of experience, and when to release your CV to someone else, because sometimes you just want to build profiles and all that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So the first question, if I got you very well, you're trying to say how long should you stay in an organization before you move on, right?
Yeah. So the fair number of years that is advisable to remain in an organization before catching another opportunity.
Right. So I've got a standard response for that as well. So when is it okay for me to leave an organization? And this is my response. I say 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, or a lifetime, for as long as you have taken value with you and you are leaving value behind. That is my standard response. What it means is that once you get into a role, you must become value-driven from day one. So that after day one, and for whatever reason, you need to leave that organization. For instance, you have to go to Canada. Suddenly, your visa now pushed through after joining that organization. In that 1 day or 1 week or 1 month or 1 year, what value are you going to leave behind and what value are you taking with you? That should be the overriding conversation rather than focusing on for how long should I be in an organization. And this standard number of months or years is the reason why people are in toxic work relationships, but they are there because if I move now, they will say that I'm hopping. And therefore people just stay in. It's so similar to toxic relationships as well. Because what will people say? So I'm saying that relationship until somebody is killed before the whole world is going to be making some noise. So my take, don't, because of what a standard is from an external perspective, continue to stay in a relationship that is no longer giving you value. I put up something on my WhatsApp status yesterday around this. Let me see if it's still there. I'm not sure. I'm trying to see. No, I think it's gone off. So don't just have a value-driven conversation rather than a time-based conversation with yourself on this journey. The truth is, when it's time for you to move and you think that, Uche is still here. Uche, I need to make this real. Uche, are you still here? Uche might have dropped off. Okay, so Uche was my colleague at 7up Bottling Company. Uche was the guy who helped me to pack my things the last day on a Sunday morning that I left. And I actually did not know. Uche he wasn't in HR, still not in HR. I handled HR, legal, admin, which was not even part of the individual that I was managing on a day-to-day basis. But the things that he said to me as I left, I did not know that I had made an impact as far as that other side of the road in the organization. And I'm dropping names, and that is being deliberate. Let me also give you another example. Stanbic IBTC, the guy who ultimately invited me to be head of HR at FBN Quest was my colleague at Stanbic IBTC. Ayo Dufuye is the head of HR at Coronation Merchant Bank today. If I didn't leave value enough behind, I'm not sure Ayo will have recommended me for a role to be his boss at FBN Quest. The last example I'll give will be Etisara. When I left Arthur Anderson in 2002. I was almost like the de facto head of the Department of Executive Selection and Training. When it was time for me to leave Stanbic IBTC in 2010, and I was looking for an opportunity, it was somebody in the department at Arthur Anderson in 2010 who reached out to me 8 years after, who reached out to me and said, "YF, we're trying to recruit for Etisalat. Are you interested?" Leave value behind. 1 year, 1 month, 8 years. Let your focus be not how long should I stay in this organization, but how much value should I take with me, and how much value from an impact perspective should I leave behind? And that would be a better conversation in terms of your performance on the job, and also your ability to put your career in a long-term perspective rather than just focusing on today's role. That would be my response. Okay, Harry, your question, please. I think we might have 5 more people. Yes, Harry, go ahead. You're welcome, Glory. Harry, can you hear us? Can you unmute and ask your question, please? We are rounding off gradually right now. Harry, Harry cannot unmute. Please, please help host. Please, can you help Harry? He cannot unmute. Okay. Who else?
All right. Good evening, sir.
Okay. Good evening. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for quite an insightful session with me. I mean, I didn't regret it. So yesterday when I saw the flyer, I was like, I was going to keep space for that in my schedule, and thank God I'm actually glad I didn't. I'm not regretting it. All right. All right. So I want to use the opportunity. I was the one that sent the message that said I was looking for a data analytics role, right?
Okay.
All right. So I want to use the opportunity to resell myself. You never can tell. Anyone can be on the call who might need such services, and who knows, you might also put some strings on. All right. So I've been playing in the data role in the data industry for a while, but I've been doing more of training. And through that period, I even founded a company called Resolutics, right? So we train people on data analytics too. Well, recently, I just felt the urge to actually go into a company and practice real time, right? So I'm open to employment opportunities. So my skill set are Microsoft Power BI, Excel, SQL, and little bit of Python. And currently, I'm taking up a course in Rome Business School for Masters in Data Science Management, just so you know that I'm working towards the end goal. Actually, the end goal is AI, and robotics, but this is where we start from. All right,
Nice.
so I'm using the opportunity to shoot my shot.
You've done that nicely. So I have your CV in my brain. Nice. Were you in class on Saturday as well for the HR analytics class? Did you make that? Okay. I think Harry is gone off now. Bob Kelechi.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we have to stop here because of the time. Thank you so much, Mr. Yemi. This is a very wonderful section. We really enjoyed
I've told you not
ourselves.
to call me. I've told you several times not to call me Mr. Yemi. My name is Yemi.
Okay. Let me try. So thank you very much, Yemi. This was a very wonderful section, very impressive. And I'm very sure that everyone here has actually benefited from this section, even from the personal branding to the CV optimization and also personal development. As a person, I've learned a lot. As an HR person, I've also been able to get new insight about the HR processing, recruitment, when it comes to CV optimization and things that we need to overlook and things that we also need to put, in order, how to put our homes together. So I believe everybody has learned a lot from this. And I want to say a very big thank you to you for joining us on this section. It's really an opportunity for our students to be able to participate in this. And I can see them already, a lot of people have started dropping their comment. Please, let's drop more comments to appreciate this wonderful, this wonderful person. You don't want me to call you an icon, but thank you so much. I really appreciate this. We will look forward to further sections with you. And please, for everyone that are here today, that, the opportunity to join this, please, we always want you to also look forward to having more sections with us. Before I round up, I'm going to call out to Sani, who is the organizational manager, who's going to give us more insight into what Rome Business School and the programs, because we have some of our students here who are asking for more information. I could see a lot of people trying as much as possible to know further about what we offer in Rome Business School and how the Rome Business School programs can actually benefit them while they are with us. So Sani, over to you, please. We need more insight on this. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Funke, and thank you, YF, for that insightful program. To our students, current students, and prospective students, as the case may be. At Rome Business School, we have about 10 master's programs. We have the executive MBA. We equally have the almighty DBA, apart from the 10 master's program. Then we have our master's in international human resource management that has something to do with what we are discussing at the moment, that has to do with CV optimization and about HR space, as the case may be. We have partners with so many bodies like the CIPM, also the HRCI, where you have opportunity of having your international certification through Rome Business School, and you are going to be having some discounted payment to garner this certification. Also in Rome Business School, our master's program comes with a double certification. That is a professional certification in Rome Business School and another academic certification from VIU, Valencia International University in Spain. Also in Rome Business School, we do have our international study tours about 3 times in a year, 2 in Rome, 1 in Kigali in Rwanda. Then we used to have our boot camps at IIT in Ibadan for agribusiness students, and also Obasanjo Farms / Bells University in Ota. Equally, we used to have our company visits, at times virtual and most times physical. Then at the same time, we equally have some other master's programs like the entrepreneurship and innovation. We have masters in marketing and sales, masters in marketing and communication, logistics and supply chain management, project management, agribusiness management, data science, digital marketing and business transformation. Our master's program is a 1-year master program whereby our faculty used to be industry experts, mostly like you have YF, who featured on our master's program at the weekend, and some other HR professionals and other industry experts in other areas of life, where we used to bring them on board to give a kind of experiential knowledge to our students, unlike the theory we have in our 4 walls of the university. So at Rome Business School, you feel at home and you can equally network. We have situations where faculty-student network and businesses flow from there. So we have that and so many more opportunities you have to gain from being a student of Rome Business School. Our payment plan is flexible. And at the same time, you can be a virtual student, you can be 100% online, you can be a blended student at the same time hybrid, or you can be a physical student as the case may be. So at Rome Business School, here we build better managers for a better world. I'm sure you'll be convinced to have a kind of second thought of joining us at Rome Business School, where you can have opportunity of attending so many of this kind of program that will be tailored towards your need and your future need as the case may be. At this point, I want to say thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend today's webinar, and we appreciate your presence. Funke, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Asani, for that wonderful presentation. Before we go, I also want to say a little thing about what we are having today. During the course of the session, I understand some of our students ask questions about, career mentoring, career coaching. Career service, as part of what we are doing today, is part of the career service activities to help students in terms of networking, personal branding, develop their career development. And we do have a lot of professional workshops that would help you in your profession and your career. So from the career service, we have the mentoring sections to help our students in different areas that they need solutions, not only focusing on the CV optimization. We also want to help you develop your career, your skills, and your interests. So we have a lot of series of activities offered by the career services to help you in your career and also to be able to attain your career goals. So while you're in Rome Business School, we are not just focusing on developing yourself, finding doing the classroom learning. At the same time, we help you develop your skills, develop the right skill you need, professional development in every area of your life. So we do a lot of targeted webinar sections, workshops to help you in the various areas of your field. And we'll encourage that for you to be able to benefit more of these services, we want you to, so go to our web, reach out to us. Like you said, fill the form. We'll always reach out to you. Send out some surveys. Please reach out to us. Let us know your interest. I'll be able to help you through your career path while you're in Rome Business School. Thank you very much once again for everyone that's joined us today. I want to say a very big thank you for staying with us from the beginning of this section to this moment. I want to say a very big thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you on your feedback on these sections that we have just completed. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for every participant that are here today, both prospect and also our current student. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And once again, I want to seize the opportunity to extend greetings from the country director, who is Dr. Humphrey Akanazo. He is also part of us here. One is extending his appreciation to us for those who have participated. Thank you so much for joining. And also on behalf of our Dean, Professor Ragusa from Italy, he's also extending his appreciation to those who have participated. Thank you so much, and we look forward to having our next section. Our next session, we're going to be having this is for tomorrow. Please, we also encourage that for those who participated today, also try as much as possible to subscribe for the activities tomorrow. We also have the same time tomorrow. Please stay tuned and also reach out to us. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Do have a lovely day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. Yemi, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate the time. Thank you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. We look forward to having you some other sections. Thank you so much.
Okay. Take care then. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.
Bye.
How was my closing remarks?
My name is Davidson Ediego. I'm a business consultant and entrepreneur. I'm currently a business and territory manager for West and Central Africa for a company called Fisher & Paykel Healthcare. where we provide products around medical devices for respiratory care. I mean, I've enjoyed a good time at Rome Business School when I had my master's program there. I did the master's in marketing and communication, and that was 2020. That's when I graduated. It was a very good experience for me. One of the key aspects of the program with Rome Business School was the networking part, in which I was in a very close-knit and niche group of people, fantastic individuals. They had various backgrounds from the banking industry, from, of course, advertisement industry, also just pure marketing industry, also medical device industry, where I was able to network with a lot of individuals. We're able to, during our product launch, we're able to come up with fantastic ideas on how to, launch basically innovative product into the market. And key for me was the fact that we didn't just only stop at networking within classrooms or after activities. We took it outside that. I can tell you, I had a good business relationship with two or three other colleagues of mine, in which we had and did a bit of business transactions, and of course I was able to benefit from that, both from the knowledge point of view and also both from the financial point of view, if I may also add to that. Rome Business School is a very good platform for you to meet fantastic individuals. People have experience in the industry, people have innovative ideas, people have go-to-market strategy. Importantly for you, you should understand you're coming to a business school, and the idea of being in a business school is to do business, really. I mean, and of course to generate funds and also be able to take your ideas from inception into conceptualization into a finished product, if I may say. And you have to work with people. You cannot be an island of your own. So there I had great people who I met, like I said before, and I will still say was a very good experience for me, and I would encourage people to also come to Rome Business School, because apart from the faculty members who are professional, seasoned lecturers, they also have the opportunity for you to also work with your fellow colleagues and also learn from their own insights in various industries. The journey so far, I mean, you can't talk about the full journey without starting from, like I say, from the beginning itself. Before I came into Rome Business School, I was kind of like transitioning between work, jobs. I was already country manager for a big multinational company, and lucky enough, I was looking at also switching jobs, and I think for me, my ideology and also the company ideology did not match, and I thought about moving. And once I joined Rome Business School, I was fantastic enough, I was able to get a newer role, which I became a business manager for also multinational, business manager slash company country manager. In that role, I was able to thrive. I mean, applying basic frameworks, from strategic frameworks to managerial styles, to operational styles, framework which I actually taught within Rome Business School. I was able to practicalize what I'd learned in class. It gave me an edge among my colleagues, and also because the fact is that you're competing not locally but internationally. I'm managing the Nigerian market, and I could talk to my colleagues in Iran, my colleagues in China, my colleagues in Switzerland, and be able to share ideas. I mean, one of the things that really benefited me, I mean, improving my presentation skills. Apart from my presentation skills, my go-to-market strategy helped me. And it was funny enough, I had to be selected among in a global meeting for our company. Then I was the third speaker because of various initiatives I was implementing within the Nigerian market, and I was seeing success. And from there, I grew to become a business manager of West Africa within that company, and that was achieved in less than a year, between 10 months to a year. I was able to achieve that. Then after I graduated from Rome Business School, I mean, the various jobs I've been able to do, I mean, apart from growing in the industry myself. Currently, like I said, I'm the territory manager for West and Central Africa. I was able to also consult for other multinationals on the side, so thereby increasing my value within the industry itself. I've also been key speakers in various exhibitions or conferences or workshops, sharing my expertise. And one of the things Rome Business School also teaches you is to build a confidence, to have a third eye in terms of everything you look at in the market itself, from strategy to operations to also to various framework in which you're also trying to implement within the market itself. So it gave me a broader view. It gave me a holistical view or a helicopter view of how the market functions, various functions of the market are, and how to implement and improve your go-to-market strategy. My advice to young upcoming graduates or people who are actually striving for knowledge, which is very key. When you come to Rome Business School, I'll tell you, you're going to strive for knowledge. You're going to, when you come, when you leave, you're going to be totally different. The fact that Rome Business School has various accreditations, I mean, it's amazing. And with those various accreditation Rome Business School have, if you also tap into those associations in which you have various opportunities in terms of job fairs, international job fairs. I mean, currently there's a job fair currently going on, and Rome Business School, which is part of that association, gives you that holistic view. So you're not just competing locally, you're competing globally. And I think that's where we need to position yourself as a person, as an individual. When you look at your career growth itself, you need to look at yourself, am I just going to strive and become the best within my local space? Or am I going to be global? Am I going to be a global leader? Am I going to be able to compete with someone who is in China, who is in the US, who is in maybe in England? Am I going to be able to stand among my peers globally and say, yes, I'm one of the top 10, 5 of, in fact, the first leader within my own space? So with Rome Business School, it gives you that exposure, that international exposure with various workshops that they hold in various parts of the world. I mean, in Rwanda, in Angola, in Europe, also in Italy. And also looking at Rome Business School globally, they also have relationship with various universities. I mean, from England, even the US. So you have the opportunity just to also interact with your own colleagues, not just locally in Nigeria, within your class, but also your colleagues that are in Italy, that are also maybe a sister university, maybe in the UK also. And you'll also be able to tap into various workshops, international workshops they have, and which they develop certain skills. If it's business development, if it's presentation skills, if it's project management, if it's database management, So what I advise people to come, when you come into Rome Business School, is to look at it and say, I'm coming here to learn. I'm coming here to improve myself. I want to be better than the person that was yesterday. And the motto says itself, becoming better managers, So that is what you need to also look at. And I would advise any young person or anyone who is striving for